Ladies and gents, ladies and tents. Welcome to Day 9 Daily number 553, where we learn to be a better gamer. Aww, yeah. In today's daily, we are going to do something very unusual, and hopefully in a way that lets us learn to be a better gamer. In today's daily, we are going to look at 5 or 6 games of TLO playing Zerg versus Protoss. Rather than do something where we look at one game and analyze it in detail, or look at 5 games of the same build and look at variations on it, we're going to do 5 mini analyses where I am not going to stop the game and come to my face at all. None through the course of this daily. Only in between games will I do that. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to look at a game and get just a brief, broad, 5-mile-high understanding of WTF went on. So hopefully that pans out well. I would love it if you send an email to, actually, rather than send the email, if you go to day9.tv and you'll see up in the top right, it should have the daily 553 there in the archives. If you could just post a comment of what you thought of this daily on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of structure, because I might want to do it again. And if you could also say something like, I like it more than these sorts of dailies and less than these sorts of dailies, just so I get that feedback, that would be great. I would love that. It would thrill me. Announcements coming up tomorrow will be another daily. Coming up right after this daily is the After Hours Gaming League Week 5 match between Microsoft and Google. Will Google, the giant that very nearly achieved finals status in Season 1, be able to oust the Season 1 champions, Microsoft, who macro hard and Microsoft? We will find out after today's daily, so stay tuned. And we'll go into that. Tomorrow, yes, another daily. Friday, I'll be playing Link to the Past, and you will know all about that because look at this snazzy overlay that I have that says Day 9's Day Off. Oh, so good. And on Saturday, I will be in Los Angeles, California for the Collegiate Star League Grand Finals on Saturday. And of course, they're having their League of Legends event on Sunday. You should tune into that as well. But primarily, you should tune in to watch the first ever time I will be casting with one of my best friends in the whole world, Megumi X Bear, aka Trisha Sugita. Seriously, that girl freaking awesome! She's so awesome, and she shovels food into her body at a rate that is uncanny. She is 5 feet tall, and she weighs 88 pounds. And she could seriously eat like 5 of me. Just consume, just like shovel it in like a Yoma, like a voracious eater Yoma. It's psychotic. Read Claymore and you'll understand the reference. And then Fun Day Monday will be on Monday, and on Sunday will be episode 3 of Why We Like It, where Tristan and I will be talking about our analysis of Watchmen. Ugh. Now, here's the question I have for you, beautiful viewers. Beautiful though you may be, an opinion I lack from you. Do we want to watch a game of TLO versus Baby Knight versus Tassadar versus Panda Tank versus Elfie or versus White Ra? Just type the name in the chat and we will end up choosing one of them. While that's going on, I just wanted to note kind of how I like to approach these games. I am not going to be pausing to come back to my face. I will occasionally pause and point out things, but I will only ever be at ×2 or ×4 unless in a battle. Unless, of course, in a battle. Looks like you've said White Ra. I'll be going into White Ra. We're going to do our first ever so brief analysis right now. Yes. And the thing that I'm generally looking for in these games is what I like to call the critical moment. The critical moment. In chess, this would be the move that gets the exclamation mark notation because it's so baller. In StarCraft, it's the moment where someone clearly wound up falling behind irreparably. For instance, this might be when there was an attack at the 3rd and you didn't defend it properly and you lost that expansion. And we're like, there's the critical moment. No matter what ended up happening after that, it didn't matter. Hoping to be able to identify those. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Let's do this! Alright, so I am disallowed from going any slower than what we're at now. TLO is spawning in the bottom right on Newkirk City. Rather than pause to do the analysis of the map, I'm going to have to be quite swift with it. Therefore, it will be a rapid-fire analysis. This is the most likely third base for a Terran and Protoss because it automatically secures ourselves a fourth base, and we want to have that clusteredness, that closeness to our opponent. For Zergs, this is a slightly more acceptable third base location in my eyes. I'd want to do this and gear up to have this as a fourth base. I feel like that would cause problems if we expanded towards our opponent as a Zerg user. Plus, I'd want the idea of him getting here and me being able to hit him from this angle, and from this angle. So TLO is doing something that I think is quite standard nowadays, to go for the hatch first. Many people are of the opinion that this is almost always worth it, even going double drone and then spawning pool. Forgive me. Sound, I actually have been having horrific problems with in Heart of the Swarm. Just absolutely appalling. It just keeps changing throughout the game. So I will leave it on for now. Might take it off in a bit. But I'm going to speed it up. So this looks normal to me. Obviously, he doesn't want to lose to a cannon rush. This hurts my soul slightly. Wow, it actually went down quite early at 350 rather than 415. This is, again, one of the reasons why people enjoy going these hatch-first builds, especially against these greedy plays. So if I'm in Camp TLO's shoes, I'm worried about early pushes with air units that will be happening at the usual times that Void Ray Harass would be happening. I'm worried, of course, about the Immortal Sentry all in. It's a little easier to hold off if you go hatch first because you have the excess of larva. Or, of course, some big ol' gateway attack. Big ol' gateway attacks are pretty easy on this map because we just hold the 2 watchtowers here. And then what can he do? We can't do anything except kill that off. White Ra, this is a build that we analyzed quite a bit during the White Ra special week. 3 oracles before moving out. Why? So that way we can get an expansion and defend it. Most Zerg pushes will end up occurring at around 9-10 minutes. So we just keep our oracles there until 9 or 10 minutes, to where all those early pushes will likely have ceased in terms of possibility. And we have our defenses up. So TLO's doing everything very reasonably, in my eyes, getting all the sort of standard setups. This is the moment where I will pause. Choink, 850. Looking around at this period, we have not seen that much other than this third. And TLO has been doing this a lot, going for the, Hydra and Infestation Pit combo. I think that this is a perfect way to answer. We can easily get some Hydras up for some air defense, and then instantly transition into Swarm Hosts. See, look at how rapid fire this is. So rapid fire. This timing right now, this 9-minute timing, is, I think, going to be the big scary time for Zergs here and there and everywhere. Just the triplets of oracles are really annoying. Not that many workers have been killed off. Workers actually run quite quickly compared to the oracles. So these are pretty ineffectual right now. Hydra's coming out, and again, I really love transitioning into... let's see if I can do this quickly enough. I like transitioning into Locust right now because he either has low ground unit count because he went air, or he is slowly racking up on air. Either way, we can't really be attacked by ground anytime soon, so that gives us plenty of time to go for Locust. TLO, on the other hand, is rushing for Hive, which I think is kind of a cool way to play. I've been seeing him do this a lot. It's so we can get the Hydralisk plus Viper combination. Again, I think that the instant transition into Locust is vastly superior. So we get to push out. Great defense by TLO, only losing 3 workers. Why did Protosses take a third here? So they can easily expand here as a fourth. We're seeing the example unfold before our eyes. And White Raw's going motherfucking carriers. So we're in this awkward spot as TLO where we don't actually have this information yet. We're essentially trying to do a early Hive tech push. Early Hive tech being Vipers, early Hive tech being Vipers and Adrenal Gland, and late Hive tech being Ultralisks and Broodlords. So trying to do a push at around the 1330 mark to try to break in here. And this is where I will slow down for this battle. I'm actually of the opinion that trying to pick off the carriers is not actually the optimal play in slow numbers. In this game, we'll actually see that Hydralisks are amazing at killing off interceptors, whose health totals we can't actually get. Can I grab an interceptor? Damn, I can't. Rats, cruds, crumpets. So here, I don't think TLO has fallen behind in any regard. I think that thus far, everything has pretty much been as anticipated, but I'm looking for a transition here. I'm a hunkering, I'm a hunting for a transition. I think roaches are not the key transition, although this isn't bad. I think that this is a reasonable choice, because our opponent is going to be spending so much energy trying to defend against the Hydralisks that the roaches are going to be doing quite a good bit of damage, assuming we have a lot of them. But as it turns out, carriers are just damn good. Super damn califragilistic XP ala frickin' docious. Precocious docious ala blocious? I don't know. This is a rapid analysis. I don't explain what I think. So I already feel like there's two key moments where TLO likely has fallen behind, and we'll end up talking about those in a moment. But TLO doing, I think, a very reasonable decision. I have seen my opponent starting to mass up carriers, massing up Hydralisks as a result, and here we actually see how quickly interceptors fall to Hydralisks. Look at this, just chilling. I'm going to go to the unit count. We see 26, 22, 20, 19. Keep in mind, these interceptors are being produced 7 at a time, and they're still down to just 13. Look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. I think that is freaking incredible. Frick gosh darn frickin' incredible. An attempted counterattack by TLO doesn't go so well, but it's incredible enough that it gives me pause. Until White Raw pulls back for a quarter second and then instantly begins doing the face bludgeoning. So this is, I think, a very straightforward game. As we advance forward through, I want you to think about when your key point would be, the key point where you think TLO fell behind, where the biggest error ended up happening. And then once we encounter Psionic Storm... oh, Ermagerd Cernic Sturm, because I know you guys like explosions. Let's not even do anything. Let's... oh, GG. Ah, the LA tap water burns. Ah. So here's my analysis of what went wrong when. Let's hop on into it. Let's see. The biggest moment, I'm trying to pull back. I want to pull back to somewhere like the 12-minute mark. There we go. So here's where I think that things went a little bit awry for TLO. Actually, I think we could pull back to 11 minutes. Great. Here's my key moment number 1. Key moment number 1. Why is this key in my eyes? Because at this point, TLO is doing everything very reasonably. He has defended this. He has the units up to be able to continue to defend against further Oracle harassment. And is this Viper tech going to deal with all the possibilities? Our opponent could be expanding here. He could be transitioning back to ground and playing defensively. He could be resuming air. No matter what, it's delayed Colossus tech, delayed mass gateway stuff, delays of all sorts. What's the best way to exploit that delay? This is the first thing that I would say. Expanding seems like another, or I should suppose saturating this, seems reasonable. We don't have any information, though, if he's going to be doing some sort of timing push, and I think that information is very easily gleanable. TLO did not do a key scout at this time, and did not do anything to exploit this. By the way, I'm speaking in absolute terms, and I really shouldn't, when I say he is not doing this, and that is a mistake. I'm not saying like that is 100% clear a mistake, what an awful dumpster shit bad nerd. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is kind of my opinion, but I'm speed tracking it with faster language. I'm not trying to... I don't want to say things correctly. I want to say things more bluntly to speed through it. So, yeah, I think that there's not a lot of exploitation of the lack of aggression for White Raw right now. There's really just no aggression. Taking this expansion would be pretty straightforward, especially given our Hydras. And this tech up to layer might even make sense to go straight for Broodlords right away and not even worry about the Infestors, but that seems a little bit far-fetched to me. I think a Scout right now is essential to define what's up, and also I think that the Vipers are pretty clearly ineffective against a number of transitions. So, for instance, let's say we wander up to our opponent with this force. Whoa! What is this? What the hell? Oh, I don't want to take command of the game. In this position, I think this push, I think this Viper play is a very low percentage play. I think that this is very much so. This very much so strikes me as derp. I've done this a couple times and it's worked, so I'm just going to go for it. If our opponent has a largely Stalker, Immortal-based army, we lose. Quite badly. Quite badly. Yeah, just straight up. And he can pull back and rearrange himself. And White Raw just has some cannons and wins this so one-sidedly with these carriers. I mean, this is a real convincing win, especially given that a 4th base is coming up out of this. So that in my eyes is yet another sort of moment where it's like, all right, we really should probably do something else. And at this point, I don't even know if it really matters what TLO does. I don't even know if it really matters, and that's why I like to talk about those first two really key moments, because in my eyes, between 11 minutes and 13 minutes, nothing's really done to be able to apply pressure or to take advantage of this situation. I even think that at 11 minutes, it might be very reasonable to do just a standard Roach Hydra push at this base. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that sort of push either. I just think that if he's low on defense, we should either attack him or we should just be expanding like crazy. That's what I think. I'm going to start. Should I actually start the second one? Or should I go into a break? All right, we're going to go ahead and go to a break right now. When we come back, we're going to look at another game between TLO and Tassadar and do another rapid-fire analysis of that, where, again, we're going to try to identify key moment type things. And in the break, let me know what you thought of that. Let me know what you thought. We'll be back after this short break.